good day to you. This is Todd. I'm just a regular dude out here walking in the Word. Today I'm out here at Mayak is behind me. Carlton Reserve is in front of me and ahead of me. So anyway, I thought as I was riding out through here, I thought, what a perfect example of what Jesus was talking about as we were reading through Mark. And then today we're going to be talking about Mark 10, verses 1 through 12. And I'd like to read that together. So if you have your Bibles like I do, go ahead and read it with me. It says this: Jesus then left that place and went to the region of Judea and across the Jordan. Okay. Again, crowds of people came to him, and as was his custom, he taught them. So we're getting into the pattern here where Jesus is teaching all the time. So as he comes across crowds, some Pharisees came and tested him. Now, keep in mind, they're not wanting to learn; they're wanting to test him and see if they can trip him up. So they said, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife? What did Moses command you?" He replied. They said, "Well, Moses permitted a man to write a certificate of divorce and send her away." Okay. Now, in that time period, there was so much divorce going on that, and you could divorce over any little thing. If your wife burnt your toast, you could give her a certificate of divorce. And it was the man who could do that. The woman was kind of at a disadvantage in that society at that time. And so they were saying this, and Jesus said, yeah, you can offer, Moses had said you can offer divorce. I imagine at that time Jesus was looking out across the people, and he saw what I'm seeing behind me. If you look behind me, you see it's all torched. Big fire came through here. And it's just, there's like everything's burnt up. It's nothing green, no life around here. It's just torched, all gone. Okay. However, Jesus was like, that's not what I came to do, and that's not what God's plan was. Okay. His plan was what we see on the other side of the path here, green over here. Okay. That's what Jesus, what his desire was. So let's see what he says here. All right. Verse 5. It is because your hearts were hard that Moses wrote this law. Jesus replied, but the beginning of creation God made male and female. For this reason a man will leave his father and mother and be united with his wife, and the two will become one flesh. That's something we say in when we do weddings all the time. We say those things, but we don't want to stick with it at the end, okay? And they will become one flesh. There's not a tree around here, but back close to our house, there's a tree that it has a palm tree growing right. It started out right beside the oak tree. What has happened is the oak tree has completely surrounded it, but they're growing up together. Now the thing is, if you were to take either one of those trees and we got to separate them out. We got to, I want that palm tree, but I don't want the oak tree. If you were to do that, you would end up killing both of them. You damage both of them. The oak tree might still live if you tried to take the palm tree out, but you would do so much damage to the trees trying to separate them. And that's what God was talking about. He was like, the marriage is like that. When you put, when you're married, it's like that. Those two trees growing up right beside each other, and they become intertwined and stuff. And if you separate them, oh yeah, you'll separate them. They might live, but man, it tears it up. Okay. So anyway, and we've used the example of super glue. If I super glue two of my fingers together, and that's marriage is like the super glue. You super glue them together, then you go and take them apart. What's going to happen? They're not going to come apart easily right at the super glue, and the super glue is the only thing going to be messed up. It's going to be the fingers. There's parts of the fingers that are going to be coming apart. And that's the way a marriage is when you tear that marriage apart. And so, anyway, like I said, you look back at this, and Jesus was looking, and he was like, you guys are divorcing all over the place, and for, just crazy, stupid reasons. But I intended it for to be like over here. Let me keep reading. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Verse 9, therefore, what God has joined together, let no man separate. All right. Verse 10, when they were in the house again, the disciples asked Jesus about this. He answered, anyone who divorces his wife and marries another woman commits adultery against her. And if she divorces her husband and marries another, she also commits adultery. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about that. You could spend weeks talking just about this passage here, okay? I don't believe Jesus was also insinuating that if you're in an abusive relationship, if the wife is being constantly beat up by her husband, that she needs to stay and say, oh, well, Jesus wants me to stay in here and be used as a punching bag. No, that's not what Jesus was talking about at all, okay? But what he was, I think, sick and tired of was the desolation of marriages all around him, with people just divorcing all the time. And God's intention was that you would stay married, and that was a commitment, so that it would be a strong relationship that you would grow with, and that you would be a witness to other people. And so hopefully, as we are in our Christian lives, we're not like what we have behind us with the just the wasteland and all the different people I know that just are the constant divorce and remarriage like that, just like changing partners like you change your socks. That's not what God intended at all. He intended, for us to have life, be an example, and our marriage to be fruitful, green, growing, like what we have on the other side here. So, all right. I'll stop my talk about marriage here, because we could, do months of that. So I will see you tomorrow as we continue our journey through the book of Mark. And I'm just a regular dude walking through the Word today. I'm riding through the Word. So, all right. See you later. Adios.